We are honoured today being in the presence of the great Clyde The Glide Drexler. What can we say about this guy?
Incredible shot! Oh, Drexler! Oh, Clyde Drexler finishing with fury.
10 times All-Star team. He's won an NBA championship, gold medalist, NBA Hall of Famer. Clyde, first of all, what are you doing in London?
I'm in London to promote the start of the NBA week, which is February 25th through March 4th or 5th, which ends with the culmination of the Nets and the Raptors in a regular season NBA game right here in GB. Does it get any better?
I mean, how important is that in order to spread the word, to spread the message of the game?
I think it's important to spread the global message of the NBA because there's a lot of demand for it. And so the NBA is trying to facilitate the need. And, you know, to improve the sport of basketball right here in GB before the Olympics will create a certain demand by the time the Olympics get here.
I'm glad you mentioned the Olympics because obviously it's less than 2 years away.
Right.
It's going to be an absolute huge event. Everyone started talking about it in London already.
Right.
I assume the rest of the world is slowly starting to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball is going to play a huge part of that. Do you think it could kick on a lot more in Great Britain through the Olympics?
I think so. I think the emergence of an Olympic team here in GB will give greater influence, greater credibility to the sport of basketball. And you already have the global presence, and when it's right here in your backyard, it doesn't get any better than that.
Absolutely. And to mention the Olympics, I mean, we were going to mention it sooner rather than later. You were part of the Dream Team, 1992 Olympic winning American side in Barcelona. I mean, you played alongside some amazing players, arguably the greatest lineup in history. Can you just tell us a bit about that?
Well, I'm a bit biased, but I think it's the greatest team ever assembled in the sport of basketball. But again, I'm biased. There are a couple of teams that can compete with that, but I think we'd beat them. But for the most part, that was a tremendous honor, a great part of history. It was a privilege and an honor to be on that team. We had a lot of success, changed the way basketball was perceived around the world, and just an overall tremendous experience.
And obviously 10 of the squad were named as part of the 50 greatest players ever, yourself included. I mean, that just speaks volumes about the quality of the players who were in that squad. Oh,
absolutely. Some of the greatest players ever collected, ever assembled, on the same team at the same time. To be a part of that was magnificent. Obviously, to be a part of the 50 greatest players who ever played the game. Think about all the players who've played. And to be a part of the 50 greatest, well, that's a tremendous honor as well.
I mean, do you ever look at some of these lists that you're included in, like 50 greatest players and like the coolest players, and you're in the Hall of Fame? Do you ever look at them and go, that was a pretty good career?
I look at that and I go, I got lucky quite often. I mean, that's the only way to look at it, because when I was a kid growing up, I never thought I'd even be good enough to make a team, let alone to play and be one of the greatest to ever play. And so you have to take it year by year, day by day, basically, and do the best that you can. But I look back at it and I say, boy, all those years of hard work really paid off. So it goes back to the old saying, the more you practice, the luckier you get.
And to think it could have been a different path, because I read that you used to play baseball as a youth.
I played baseball, I played American football. I never played soccer, which is your football. I would have loved to have played soccer, so it looked like it's a lot of fun to play.
You've been pretty good.
I've been pretty good. I was fast, so I think that helps. And but never played it, not once. Unbelievable.
You could start now.
I'm too old now.
And also, just to go back to the Dream Team, obviously you played along with the likes of Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. I mean, absolute greats of the game. What was it like, side by side, along them, representing your country?
Well, I had played with those guys in All-Star games and against them for many, many years in competition, so we knew each other quite well. At the time, I think Magic Johnson was retired. Larry Bird was having back trouble, so it wasn't what you thought it was. I mean, those guys are still good, but they were on the back end of their prime, but they were still pretty good. And so to be a part of all that with guys that I grew up watching, like Larry and Michael, I mean, Magic, Michael was younger than me, so that was around my same vintage. But Karl Malone, David Robinson, what an incredible group of players.
And obviously, around that period was quite difficult and important for Magic for a number of reasons. I mean, what type of character was he?
Magic was, he's a leader. He comes in trying to take over, even though he hadn't played the whole season. He's out of shape, so he gets injured. But he was a regular Magic Johnson, the same guy we know and love.
And you talk about playing with the best players in the world. I mean, obviously, you were elevated to that status when you won the big one, the NBA championships with the Houston Rockets, 1995.
Yes.
I mean, was that for you? Was that the big one? That was the defining moment?
No, because basketball's a team sport. Can't ever be defined upon as you can't. You can have 40 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists every night, but if your team doesn't win, does that mean you're not a great player? No. Tennis is an individual sport. Golf is an individual sport. They always say there's no I in team. Well, it doesn't go both ways. You're only as good as your teammates.
Obviously, you're remembered as the Glide for your ability just to glide through the air. I mean, you seem to have the ability to just jump and dunk from anywhere. From the free throw line, there's images of you soaring through the air past two opponents.
Sometimes I got lucky. The ability to, all of that started with the ability to make the game more efficient. So how do you make it efficient and how do you win? Well, if you shoot a jumper, you got a 50% chance of missing, right? And a 50% chance of making. If you're trying to win the game, I don't like a 50% chance of missing. So I'm trying to win the game, so I'm trying to get to the basket and make sure it goes down. So that's how that style developed.
The Glide sort of developed after you showcased your silky skills on Dancing with the Stars?
Well, Dancing with the Stars was a tremendous honor. It's something that ex-athletes do when they're bored. But it was a great show, had a great time. I learned a lot of new dances, met a lot of new people, but my finest moment was when I got kicked off. Because I was a terrible dancer. I was really not that good. But then when I got kicked off, I could go back to the golf course. Because while I was learning to dance, it was killing my golf and tennis game. So, you can't have it all. When you're a retired guy, dancing was cutting into my schedule. But it was a lot of fun being on the show. I enjoyed it.
I mean, you say you learned a lot from dancing. Do you still bust a move every now and then?
I still can bust a move. Come on, you never. I'll be able to do that hopefully the rest of my life. But again, I'm not that good. I'm not a good dancer.
And just finally, I think we have to talk about it because it was something that sort of impacted the way basketball was viewed in this country anyway. The impact of the superstars, Michael Jordan in particular, and the Chicago Bulls. I mean, you played alongside him, you played with him and against him. Just how good was he, and how good was that dynasty team?
Well, when you get these dynasty teams, like the Lakers have gone back to back, and so Kobe is a dynasty today. Jordan retired, 2000, 2001, 10 years ago. And so you talk about, those guys were really, really good. They had a great team. And that's what it takes. I mean, when you take away Pippen and Rodman and all those other guys who made big shots, Paxson and Hodges, they had a very good team, and that's what it takes to win. Now, the Lakers now have a great team. That's why they're a dynasty. But this year, it looked like the Celtics may be a little bit better. So we'll find out.
Fantastic. Well, Clyde, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
It's my pleasure.
And hopefully see you soon.
Okay, thank you.